Hey friends, and welcome back to Violin Teacher YouTube channel. Now I'm between lessons right now, and Max is very agitated. He thinks someone should be here, and he's watching the door. So if he barks in this lesson, we'll just put up with it. I'd like to continue today on our series, Wohlfahrt 45. This is number 13. Number 13 is in the key of G major, so we should have a little bit easier time. But there's a lot of technique to learn in this one too, folks. I mean, look at the very beginning. You have a 4-note double stop. We're going to deal with that. This piece is, first of all, basically teaching us to expand the bow. And I want to show you a little bit easier, maybe, exercise that you can do and get the same kind of work done. If you look in the beginning of Suzuki Volume 2, there's a thing called the tonalization. It's also in G major. And it starts with D3, which is a G, A1, A3, E2, which is a G natural, A3, E3, sorry, E4. Now we're going to back up. E3, E2, A3, and 4. Now the 1 and the D3 again. Right, so that's a very simple little thing that you could memorize, and you should, because the next step is playing at the tip and at the frog. So the first thing you'll do is play the note, and you're going to use a whole bow and reach. You'll arrive at the tip and you'll go tippy tippy. So you're getting used to playing up there. Now the next note will be an up bow, and it will take you to the frog. Let's do that again. Notice how the elbow raises when you play at the frog, and the bow hair tilts a little bit too. Okay, not a lot, just a little. Now we're going to do froggy froggy. It starts down bow. Let your fingers be really loose. Try to get a smooth sound as you do your bow changes. The third finger next, down bow to the tip, tippy tippy, 2 on E, froggy froggy. Be sure to drop that elbow as you go down bow. Flatten the bow hair. Really easy exercise, and I'll put in the description where you can skip this part if you would rather get straight to the aspects that I want to tell you about number 13. So number 13, we have a lot to do, but that is one of your main techniques. So if I leave out that first double stop, here's what we hear. 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. Tip notes. Frog notes. You see how this is teaching us to expand the bow and play more at the very edges upper tip and lower frog. Okay, so that's kind of the main takeaway on this one. I would suggest, now this is going to make this one a lot easier for you. I would suggest stopping the bow before you play the group of 16th notes. The reason is, if, for example, you would go to line 6, where you play with a C natural, sorry, on the G string. 1, 2, 3. Then you have to play a C on the A string. So there's going to be a string, so you have to after you play the C, you have to jump over the D string. So it's probably a good setup to stop after each dotted half note. And then the other main challenge is sustaining and changing in the bow speed. So here we have these 3 beats in a note, 2, 3, and we have a certain bow speed for those, don't we? Because we're trying to conserve bow. And then we're at the outside of the bow, and we have these 16th notes, which require a little faster bow speed. You can watch my tip to see what the bow speed is. Alright, so those sustained notes will get a slower bow speed. And then the group of 16ths. So think of those groups of 16th notes as expansive, a little bit expansive also. Alright, don't just kind of go and, rush through them. Let's think of this song as very rubato, free rhythmically, and just work on expanding the bow and getting a good tone. And you can also work on vibratoing those sustained notes too. All right, so let's just deal with the double stops now for a second. The double stops, when you have a 4-note chord, I want you to look at that. You have 4 notes, and the bottom 3 are quarter notes, and the top is the dotted half note. So the dotted half note will sustain after you're done playing the quarter notes. So the first technical aspect of it is just taking away the fingers. I want you to split that into 2 notes and 2 notes. So D and G, and then A and E. Let me see if my A is in tune. I'm going to push it a little bit and get it a little higher. G and D will play together, and then we'll play E and A. So we're going to play, you imagine your bow. Let's imagine the length of the bow, and we're going to separate it into 4 pieces, 4 divisions. So the first 1/4 of your bow will play the D and G, and then you'll roll your elbow over to E and A, and you'll stay on that for a minute, 1 beat, and then you'll eventually just rock over to the E and keep that sustained for 3 beats. Now that's a lot, really, so let's try it without the fingers, because adding the fingers is scary, isn't it? So adding the fingers adds an element of technique that we want to master the bowing first. So use your bow arm to just roll down. Keep hitting the thing in the back there. The tendency will be to kind of tighten up. You'll just clench a little bit, and it'll come out as you shift from the D and G and to the A and E. So we've got to practice keeping that loose first. And the trick is to keep the bow moving. And also not to add pressure. So try to play softly. pick up the bow above the violin. Keep your hand here for now, okay? And just start going down bow in the air. And then just land gently on G and D. Alright, keep it really firm. See the roundness in your hand? It's the back of the hand here. Watch this roundness. Watch this control. Nice and round. Come back. Alright, get a good sound on that, and then keep that bow grip, and let's drop the arm. And, you know, we're playing with a certain weight on the bottom notes. So we need to lighten the bow a little bit for A and E. Alright, let's try adding 1 on A and 2 on E, right next to each other. So once you've played the chord and you have a little think moment, drop down a little further to the E. But not so fast that you don't hear that nice part of the chord. Vibrato on those. Now, here's the other thing I want you to try on these. So, lots of technique in this, really. I mean, just getting that double stop and expanding the bow and playing at the tip and at the frog. Practice your vibrato on the sustained notes, getting a good tone. Man, there's such good stuff in Wohlfahrt, isn't there? Love it. So, all right, so now I want to deal with these notes where I'm playing at the frog. And I just want you to kind of watch what happens at the wrist. And of course the fingers are reaching out and pulling in, aren't they? They're really loose. So this is what makes the transitions between down and up bow smooth and silky and pretty, and that is really loose fingers that are helping kind of absorb the shock of the change in direction. Okay, so this is in itself a good technique to practice. Also, let's pretend when you're here at the frog that you're going to just lift the bow hair. So let's say you play like this. Just going to lift one bow hair, okay? Play on the edge. Not too much. Not so much that, you know, you see like space between the hair and the stick if you were looking in the mirror. Keep that stick a little bit tilted forward, but not too much. Just going to lift one bow hair, okay? Now expand it a little and take your time with it. Alright, so let's try the beginning of this and let's see how far we go. Set the 1 and 2 before you begin. Go. Take your time. right. So the practice must go on no matter what the distractions. Isn't that right? And I sure have plenty here, thanks to Max. Okay, so I got the feeling, one more point I want to make before we close, and that is that I felt like musically, if I thought of 4 notes belonging to the next sustained note, the dotted half note, so all the while through you're playing ba 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 bum, stop. Think of the next group, ba 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 bum, stop your bow. And then, so think of them musically like that. If you look at the page, it is actually laid out. Whole note, or I mean, sorry, 3 beat note, 2, 3, da 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 da. That's in one measure. So visually, it's not going to give you that clue. But if you think about playing the first note and then playing the group of 16ths belonging to the dotted half note that follows it, then stopping the bow and preparing the next little motif, little unit, I think it'll go easier. All right. Good luck, guys. Number 13. It's got a lot of good stuff in it, doesn't it? If you found this tutorial useful, please give me a thumbs up, and I will thank you so much for listening. See you in the next tutorial.